What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I'm bringing you a profile update for the almighty, all-powerful Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now this is my personal version, so it does involve the Invoked cards, but as a disclaimer, I will show you the exact engine that you can take out and put the Primites in. Without argument, Primite is definitely the better version of Blue Eyes. If someone was to say to me, what version of Blue Eyes should I play and I want to be the most competitive with, either the Invoked version or the Primite version, I'm always going to say the Primite version, no doubt about it. I just generally really like the Invoked cards themselves, and I like what they add to the Blue Eyes structure, and also like what Blue Eyes add to the Invoked, which is why I put this build together. So I'm going to take you through the main deck, I'm going to take you through the extra deck, I'll show you the sub-engine that you can take out if you want to play the Primite, so it's a very easy change from this build to that, and then I'll also show you a demo side deck, just kind of give you a bit of an idea of what you might want to be looking for if you are taking it to an environment. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. So I'm just going to take you through the staple lineup first. So this is the hand interactions, this is the Blue Eyes lineup, this is something that probably wouldn't change between now and the Primite version, and then I'll show you like the 9 cards you sub out that are very easily interchangeable from one version to the other. So starting off with the almighty, all-powerful Blue Eyes White Dragon himself. Now I choose to play this particular artwork, I just really like the design of it. If you ever see these in person, you'll understand like the pastel kind of drawing of it, but don't get me wrong, original Blue Eyes always has a very special place in my heart because again, when I was growing up, and a bit of a backstory on this one, it usually comes down that when you have a sibling, and me and my brother went to a card shop, they were like, okay, which one do you want? And we didn't want to get the same as each other. I chose Dark Magician, he chose Blue Eyes. So it kind of just shows you how some sort of paths are kind of set in Yu-Gi-Oh! So the original will always hold a place in my heart, but some of the Blue Eyes are always absolutely amazing, and I just really like this one. And I only have one copy, before anyone says it, of the Blue Eyes standing on top of the tower. Otherwise I probably would be playing that one. So, backstory gone. 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon. I still like to play the 1 Jet Dragon. You don't have to play this. It's just one of these ones that if your environment has Ghost Ogre running around and you're always terrified that they're going to Ghost Ogre your Eternal Soul, a Jet Dragon can still give you the ability to have a little bit of a lasting effect on the field. If you are playing the Primite engine, you don't rely so heavy on it, as you do have the Primites that can kind of let you fight back a little bit more, but entirely up to you, completely flexible, take it out if you wish to. Then 3 Sage with Eyes of Blue as your ideal starter. Starting off with Sage with Eyes of Blue, it's going to be able to work you straight into the Maiden of White. And if you already have Maiden of White, you can go and search yourself out an Effect Veiler, which is going to be very helpful for you. Then we do play the 1 Neo Kaiser Seahorse. You can play more of this if you wanted to. Again, what I love about Blue Eyes, and I did it all of last year, is I went through all of the different variations that you could make with Blue Eyes, no matter what your budget was. There was so many different kind of like quirky combinations you could play. Like there was branded Blue Eyes, there was Blue Eyes with the Light and Darkness Dragon, there was Blue Eyes Dark Magician, which was like a really fun version to play. Obviously it wasn't consistent and it wasn't like hugely competitive, but it was just kind of nice to see what would happen if Yugi and Kaiba came together, and that's a build that was more built out of like anime fan following than it was of anything else, but it's still really kind of cool to put together and show that it actually does work. There are some overlapping synergies, but if you were like, I'm going to take this to my local environment, but I also have Primates or Invoked, I'm probably going to push you towards the more competitive versions so that you don't leave disheartened. But the Neo Kaiser Seahorse is really useful there, being able to send the Blue Eyes, being able to kind of special summon itself as long as you control Blue Eyes, and then open you up the door to some Synchro level 12s very easily if you wanted to. Does lend itself more to the Crimson Dragon route, should you want to go down that. I'm personally not playing Crimson Dragon in this one, but you can play the Crimson Dragon that works its way into the Stardust Surf Dragon. Considering that the Stardust Surf Dragon has had a recent reprint, it's a lot cheaper, a lot easier to put together, whereas in the past it was like a £20 card, which is absolutely wild. And then we already have more Blue Eyes support confirmed for later on this year. We just don't know yet when we're going to get in the TCG, but when there is a new Blue Eyes card and a Dark Magician card, it's very rare that that gets held back from us for a elongated period of time. Then we do have 3 Wishes for Eyes of Blue. This was like the perfect support card for the deck that wasn't too busted. And what I mean by that one is if it was a card that you activated and you just added 2 cards that listed Blue Eyes, it would be busted. But the fact it requires you to have a discard kind of balances it back out a little bit. It does make it very susceptible to Ash Blossom. But this is kind of like an upgrade on the I'm trying to remember, Melody Awakening Dragon. There we go. And what I love about this is technically, when you think about it, even though we haven't received the Blue Eyes Chronicle anime yet, this was like one of the first anime-esque decks. So you've got the Chronicle decks right now. So the one currently out is the Chronicle Fallen the Virtuous All 4 edition. And then later on this month, we're going to be getting the All 4 edition for the Charmer deck. Then it kind of begs the question is, if Sky Strikers are going to be in the modernized decks, what's the next Chronicle deck? Is this like a theme that's going to keep going on? And if it is, I'm really stoked for it, because we know in that in the animated shorts that showed you all of the different animes, there was Pearlies, I'm pretty sure there was Melfies, there was Dark Magician, there was Six Samurai. I'm probably going to forget some off the top of my head because there was just so many, but it was just really kind of cool to see that that is possibly what we could get in the future. And when we saw the branded structure deck gave us, I think it gave us 2 brand new cards, if I remember correctly, Fallen the Virtuous and the Dragon that Devours the Dogma. And then Chronicles, the Charmer one, also got 2 brand new cards. So it means like each of these could potentially get 2 new cards. Maybe Dark Magician doesn't happen, but the potential of 2 brand new Six Samurai cards, 2 potential Pearly cards and Melfi cards is actually really exciting. Anyway, I digress. So we play the 1 Mausoleum of White, the 1 Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragon, and then Majesty of the White Dragon. Then we've got the 1 True Light, and then this is the non-engine hand interaction cards or field breaker cards. So we've got the 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Mulchummy Full Loss. This should be a lot cheaper, a lot easier to put together. 2 Effect Veiler. I still like to play the 1 Bestial Magnamut. Some people side it. It's probably going to be sided more with the Bestial version because the Bestial version does add in Dominus Purge into this one. And I love the Purges. I think like Purge, Pulse, and Spiral, and even Songs of Dominates are just really kind of cool designed cards. I like them. I like the artworks. I like the theme that they've got going on, and I really hope in the future we're going to get more of them. Not that I want a deck to just be like only Purge cards, but I do like how each of them have those restrictions to them, and it's kind of how hand interaction should work in my opinion. Like there should always be a bit more of a limitation to them, but I do like them as a card in general. Then for the breaker, well, I say a breaker, I've got 3 Forbidden Droplet and then 2 Infinite Impermanence. I'm not the biggest fan of Infinite Impermanence right now. And the reason for that one is I am actually quite partial to Forbidden Chalice in the current game, but that's just a preference choice, whereas Infinite Impermanence is still a great card. It's the only reason that I've cut this down to 2. You could bump this card to a 41 card deck and bump it up to 3, or if you are playing Dominus Purge, you would then probably take out the Bestial Magnamut, you would put your Infinite Impermanence up 1, and then don't worry because the Dominus Purge allocation will come from the Invoked cards that I'm about to show you. So that's it for like the entire baseline of the deck. Like the Blue Eyes probably going to stay the same. Like you're probably going to play, unless you're not playing the Invoked one, you might consider playing like 1 Master or something. But then if you're playing the Invoked version, this is the lineup you'd probably be looking at. You should be looking at 3 Alistair the Invoker. This is like your ideal starter. So this is your Primite Ether Beryl. So you'd start off with Alistair the Invoker. Alistair the Invoker grabs you Invocation, or in an ideal scenario, you start off with Magical Meltdown. Magical Meltdown gets you into Alistair. Alistair then gets you into Invocation, and then Invocation then gets you into Macabre. So to increase your consistency to get your Magical Meltdown, you play the 1 Terraforming. This version does not respect Droll. This is one of the versions that if your environment has started to shift Droll to the side, you now consider it a little bit more. And it's where if you are so worried about Droll and Lockbird, you would consider putting in Salesband in your side deck. And I highly advise you picking them up because Salesband came as a common in the most recent OTS. And I advise make sure you have a playset of this card. Now, I'm not saying it's the most broken card in existence, but it's a common card that should be really cheap and easy. Most places at locals, once most of the cards have been pulled, the commons people don't really care about. They put them in the bulk section or whatever. Make sure you have a playset because it's one of those cards that like floats in and out of a format, and sometimes people don't expect it. Some people, I personally really like the card. So it's like one of my, I wouldn't say hot takes, but it's something that I advise you all to keep an eye out on, that make sure you've got a playset of Salesman. So this is your Invoked engine. So it is 3, 6, 9 cards. So you've got your 3 Alistairs, your 3 Magical Meltdowns, your 2 Invocations, and the 1 Terraforming. I feel that 2 Invocations is absolutely fine. I wouldn't go for any more than that. Magical Meltdown at 3. The idea behind this one, and what I do like about this, is you can technically, if you wanted to, bridge other ways into the field spell. So what I mean by that is you have the ability to bridge from your Blue Eyes package. So you'd go into the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, very easily made. You Spirit Dragon, go into Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon can then destroy the field spell to then get you your Magical Meltdown. That's great, but the chances are by the time you've made your Spirit Dragon, you've already used your ideal normal summon of the turn, so you're not going to be able to get the additional normal summon of the Alistar. So that's one thing to keep in mind. In other scenarios, it is a nice way to bridge into the Mausoleum, because you can go normal summon Alistar, and as long as you can work your way into a Synchro, you can then Ancient Fairy Dragon and switch it across. I'm not playing Ancient Fairy Dragon in this version because it's a little bit more tricky to do, but these are your 9 cards for your Alistar, your Invoked kind of package, right? So you can sub these exact 9 cards out for the next 9 cards I'm about to show you, if you want to play it at its most potential level. So I'm going to put these in white sleeves so it's very evident that these are not part of the profile, but if you wanted to, you would take out your free Alistar the Invoker for your free Primite Ether Beryl, so very direct change on that one. You would then swap your free Magical Meltdown for your Primite Lordy Load. You would then swap your 1 Terraforming for your Primite Drill Beam. Now you can play more Drill Beam if you wanted to, so it's entirely up to you. You can play 2 Drill Beam. Some people do play 2. It's kind of good for the grind game. But what makes this engine superior to the Invoked engine is that, yes, it doesn't get you the technical Omni-Negate with your Invoked Macabre, but what it does is it gives you constant resource. It means you're always going to get your Ether Beryl back. It means you're always going to be able to normal summon your Ether Beryl. You're always going to be able to get your Primite Lordy Load. You're always then going to be able to recycle your Primite Drill Beam. And the Drill Beam being a target negate banish is just absolutely insane. And then for your invocations, you take out your 2 invocations for the Dominus Purge. And then for the final Dominus Purge, you would take out your Bestial Magnamut, because you'd probably put that in the side deck as it's a dark that clashes with this card. And then the idea is you've swapped your 9-card engine plus your Bestial Magnamut for your 10-card engine in the form of the Primites. So Primites plus, I guess. So it'd be your Primites plus your Purges. Now, I understand Purges are a little bit harder to come by until we get the reprints again in Rarity Collection 5, where you can get them as an over border. I'm going to need to get this right, because it's not over art. It's like over border or over. Can't remember the exact terminology. I'm going to need to remember that. But that's where you can get like your technical full arts. Is where we're going to get them. So this will be your exact same swap. You just go cool, swap option number 1 for option number 2. That would keep everything much the same, apart from the extra deck, where you just swap out your 2 Invoked Macabres, and I'm about to show you your extra deck now. So for the extra deck, we've got 2 Invoked Macabres. You would take these both out. This would then become space for more Synchro targets if you wanted to, more XYZ targets. It could also open up the door for SP Little Knight, which I'm currently not playing because I'm focusing more on, for the Invoked, I'm going for Macabre. You can then consider Caliga if you wanted to. You can also consider Purgatrio. They all rely on your opponent a little bit more, because the only fire that you play is going to be your Ash Blossom, and the only dart that you play is the Bestial Magnamut. So, entirely up to you, but the idea is I get an Invoked Macabre. I've technically got my Omni-Negate if I hold back a spell, trap, or monster, and then kind of work it from there. Then we've got 2 Spirit Advisor Blue, pretty standard over both versions of the deck, and the 1 Hieratic Seals. In the Primite version, you can bump Hieratic Seals up to 2 if you wanted to as well. They'll still be very, very useful for you. Then for the Synchros, we've got 2 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Again, in the Primite version, you can make this free of. This is only going to come up as a free of during a very, very high-end grind state. And then the targets of your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon is the Ultimate Spirit Dragon, the Lightstorm Dragon, and the Black Rose Moonlight, backed up by the Ancient Fairy Life Dragon. I just like the fact that this is one of these OTK enablers that I can go from my Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, tag it out, summon out this card in defense, and this card can attack in defense with a 3300 defense. You're only going to make this to push for game. In a Primite version, you might not need it. Again, space for an SP Little Knight. And then the final 4 cards, we've got the 1 Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, the 1 Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So obviously equip this with the wishes, then go into your Tyrant Dragon. Tyrant Dragon just goes and clears off your opponent's entire field. And then for the XYZs, I've got the 1 Ding. This is just to protect you from destruction effects, while also being able to non-target send can be very, very useful. And then the final card I've got is the 1 Indigo Eyes Silver Dragon. You don't have to play this, but this is just one of the ones to help you deal with like a Liger Dancer. It's one of the ones that can kind of be very useful for you in certain scenarios. And again, completely subjective, completely adaptable. The idea behind all of these is that the Moon is a bounce. Like if I don't want to destroy a card and I want to return it to my opponent's hand, I have that option. I've got the OTK enabler with the Ancient Life Fairy Dragon. I've got the Spell and Trap Hate with the Lightstorm Dragon. And then I've got my Omni-Negate with the Ultimate Spirit Dragon. So I've got a range of options coming off of the back of my Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. And then I've got a range of options for my XYZs, whether it be Destruction Protection, or whether it just be able to deal with big, fat, stack boss monsters or towers or anything else in between. So that's it for the entire main deck. and the extra deck, and of course the alternative option if you want to go Primite or Invoked. Now for the side deck, my side decks at this exact moment in time, while the format is the way that it is going to be relatively straightforward. And what I mean by that is I've got 3 Mulchummy Perulia. Again, should be a little bit easier and cheaper to get hold of. If you don't have access to this, it's not the end of the world. You can put in like Nibiru's if you wanted to. It's just a hand interaction of the format that will make it better for me going second. And if my opponent doesn't respect Nibiru, Nibiru can go in this space very easily. Free Drow and Lockbird, again, quite like Nibiru. If the environment does not respect Drow and Lockbird, you kind of take this into account. If your environment is all Malice decks, then by all means, consider putting in free Artifact Lancer in space of either of these 6 cards that I've just shown you. Then free Dark Rule No More. With Tyrant Dragon, Blue Eyes has a very good capability of being able to clear off all the monsters. Yes, you could pretty much do that without Dark Rule No More and then hopefully push in for full damage. But what I quite like about the Tyrant Dragon is it lets me recycle trap cards as well. So in a grind state, it's actually very easy to go Dark Rule No More, pick the field apart, bring back a trap card, and that trap card can then start trading very easily back and forth with my opponent. And that's before I even just go, okay, normal summon Alistar, add Macabre to that as well. I've now got an Omni Negate backed up on top of it. Free evenly match, like Dark Rule at evenly, I think is really, really good sometimes this format. Again, adapt it to the environment. If your environment is like all Draco Tales and they're like, cool, I'm not even really worrying about an evenly matched. But even then, I actually quite like evenly matched against Draco Tale because they can't stop it with Horn, they can't stop it with Flame, they can't stop it with Sting, and it really does reduce their field. The only backup that they get is the fact that they will still have a 5 mana in the hand and then 5 mana and Fuse. But I still think this could be very, very damaging. And if you Dark Ruler No More against a Yummy board and then go, cool, evenly matched, again, it completely wipes out as much of their resources as possible. So I think evenly matched is one of them underdog cards right now that so many people focus on, oh, I must OTK, I can't sacrifice my battle phase, it's too worthwhile. And sometimes that is correct because the current game state they can play through. Like if you take Mitsurugi's in, for example, you're not going to be putting in evenly matched. That'd be a terrible decision. You could also consider Gravekeeper's Inscription, but I think that hurts Blue Eyes just as much as it does a Mitsurugi matchup. And then the final card I quite like to play right now, this format is Iron Thunder. I just like this as a replacement for Judgment. It's one that just backs up your starting field. And it's like, okay, cool, I've gone first. Here's my end field for this turn. And then you kind of make it very, very awkward for your opponent to try and deal with. And it's a card that not a lot of people think of. It's not a lot of it's a card that not a lot of people respect right now. And I think it really does kind of open up the door to be like, there are more options for it. And once it starts to pick up height, once people start to expect it a little bit more, then it becomes probably a little bit less relevant. But right now, with not a lot of people expecting it, it can really catch people off guard. And when they think, cool, I'll just activate my own Evilly, or I'll just activate my own Dark Rule No More, you're like, okay, cool, well, Iron Thunder. So, yeah, that kind of gives you, hopefully, something to think about. I really do like the Invoked version. Again, as I mentioned at the start of the video, it's not the best version, right? I'm not saying this is the best version of Blue Eyes in the world. Don't take it that way. This is a version of Blue Eyes. This is the version of Blue Eyes I personally quite enjoy playing over the Primite version. But I do fully understand and I do fully respect that the Primite version, as a competitive version to its max potential, is the better version. Right? There's no doubt about that. So, yeah, hopefully it's given you something to think about. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I am always happy to answer them where at all possible and go from there. But for now, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.